Anna's claws scraped against the polished floor of the Galactic Council's reception hall as she tried to control her breathing. The gravity here was set to standard, a pathetic 0.6 g that made her feel like she might float away with each step. Around her, representatives from a dozen species chittered, hummed, and vocalized in their native tongues, all of them delicate creatures adapted to worlds where survival was a given, not a battle. She was the only Krynax in the room, the only Deathworlder. Her homeworld of Krynos IV was a nightmare by galactic standards. Gravity 3 times standard, atmospheric pressure that would crush most species, megafauna that hunted in packs, and weather systems that could level cities. The Krynax had evolved to survive it all: dense bone structure, redundant organ systems, and reflexes honed by millennia of being both predator and prey. When the Galactic Council had discovered Krynos IV, they'd been horrified. A death world, they'd called it. A planet that should never have produced sapient life. Anna had proven them wrong by excelling in every physical trial, outperforming security officers from 24 species, and earning her place as the Council's first Deathworld security chief. She was unique, special, alone. "Chief Anna," a reedy voice called. She turned to see Ambassador Velith, a Quellan whose translucent skin pulsed with nervous bioluminescence. "We have a situation. A new species has petitioned for council membership, and their representative has just arrived. We need you to conduct the security screening." Anna's secondary eyelids flicked in acknowledgement. Species designation. "They call themselves humans from a planet called Earth." Velith's tendrils trembled. "Anna, I've reviewed their file, their world." He paused, light flickering anxiously across his body. "It may be worse than yours." Anna's spine ridges raised involuntarily, a challenge response. "Impossible." "See for yourself. He's in Holding Bay 7. The holding bay was a stark white room designed to accommodate various atmospheric requirements. Anna pulled up the human's file on her data pad as she walked, her eyes widening with each line. Earth, gravity 1G standard. Atmospheric composition, 21% oxygen. She stopped. 21% oxygen. That was beyond excessive. Her own world only had 14%, and even that was considered dangerous. Oxygen was corrosive, highly reactive. A 21% concentration would make everything flammable, would age cells faster, would. She kept reading. Surface 71% covered in solvent dihydrogen monoxide. Tectonic activity extreme. Volcanic activity ongoing. Weather systems violent and unpredictable. Dominant predator species, humans. Note: humans are apex persistence hunters, evolved from pursuit predation. The file went on and on. Earth wasn't just a death world, it was a catalog of horrors. Deadly bacteria and viruses everywhere. Radiation from their sun that could cause cellular damage. Gravity strong enough to make their bones dense as metal. And the humans had climbed to the top of the food chain not through venom or claws, but through the ability to simply refuse to stop moving. Anna's hands were shaking. In all her years, she'd never met another being from a true death world. Part of her wanted to turn around to avoid the confrontation. What if this human made her feel ordinary? What if she wasn't special anymore? She squared her shoulders and entered the holding bay. The human sat calmly in a chair that was clearly too small for him, reading something on a primitive-looking device. He was tall, nearly 2 meters, with a lean, efficient build. His skin was a warm brown, his hair dark and cropped short. When he looked up, his eyes were a startling green, set in a face that was flat compared to most species, with forward-facing predator's eyes. "You must be Chief Anna," he said, standing. His voice was smooth, but she could hear the underlying power in it. "I'm Kivin Tors, representing humanity's petition to the Galactic Council." Anna activated her scanner, keeping her expression neutral. "I need to conduct a security screening. Standard procedure." "Of course," Kivin spread his arms, cooperative. As she ran the scanner over him, data flooded her display. His bone density was incredible, nearly matching her own despite his world's lower gravity. His muscle fiber composition suggested both explosive power and endurance. His cardiovascular system had a four-chambered heart that could push oxygenated blood with remarkable efficiency. "Your world," Anna said, trying to keep her voice steady. "The file says it's covered in a corrosive solvent." Kivin smiled, a gesture she recognized from the database as indicating pleasure. "Water, it's not corrosive to us. We're mostly made of it actually, about 60%. Anna's ridged spines flattened in shock. "That's, you're walking water bags." "Pretty much," Kivin said, clearly amused. "Your world Krynos IV, right? I read about it. The gravity alone would make most council species collapse, 3 times standard." 2.8, Anna corrected automatically. Then defensively, "Your world's gravity is lower." "True, but Earth has other compensations." Kivin's expression turned thoughtful. "The oxygen level forces our cells to be incredibly efficient at managing oxidative stress. We age faster than most species, but we also heal faster, think faster, move faster. The high atmospheric pressure you're used to. We evolved at sea level where pressure is lower, but we can dive deep underwater where the pressure would crush most species. Our bodies just adapt." Anna found herself leaning against the wall, her worldview shifting. "I've served on the council for 8 cycles. In all that time, I've been the only Deathworlder, the only one who understood what it meant to come from a world that actively tries to kill you." "It changes you," Kivin said softly, "doesn't it? You can't help but see how fragile everyone else is, how they've never had to fight for every breath, every meal, every day of survival." "Yes." The word came out as a hiss. "They look at me like I'm a monster. They're terrified when I move too quickly or speak too loudly. They set the environmental controls to levels that make me feel weak." Kivin nodded. "I get it. On my journey here, the ship's crew kept the gravity at 0.4 G and the oxygen at 8%. I felt like I was suffocating and floating away at the same time." He paused. "But Anna, that's exactly why we need to be here. Someone has to protect them, someone who understands real danger." Anna studied him. There was no arrogance in his voice, just quiet confidence born from surviving the unsurvivable. How did humans get past the fear when they discovered the wider galaxy? "We were terrified," Kivin admitted. "We thought we'd be seen as monsters, aberrations. But then we realized something. Death worlds don't just make you strong. They teach you empathy. When you've struggled to survive, you understand suffering in a way comfortable species never can. The Council doesn't see it that way." "Then we'll show them." Kivin extended his hand, a human gesture of greeting she'd read about. "Together, 2 Death Worlders are better than 1. Anna looked at his hand, then at his face. Those predators' eyes held no threat, only recognition, kinship. She reached out and clasped his hand. His grip was firm, controlled, the grasp of someone who knew their own strength and chose to be gentle, just like her. "Together," she agreed. 3 months later, Anna stood beside Kivin in the council chamber as Ambassador Velith announced humanity's acceptance into the Galactic Council. The other representatives had been skeptical at first, but Kivin had won them over not with displays of strength, but with patience, understanding, and a genuine desire to protect the fragile peace the Council maintained. Anna had assisted him, using her own experience to bridge the gap between Deathworlder and the rest of the galaxy. And in the process, she discovered something she'd thought lost forever. She wasn't alone anymore. As the council session ended, Kivin turned to her. "You know, Earth and Krynos IV aren't that far apart, galactically speaking. Maybe we should establish an exchange program, cultural understanding between death worlds." Anna's ridged spines rippled in what humans would call a smile. "I think that's an excellent idea, though I warn you, Krynos IV's predators make your tigers look tame. And Earth's oceans make your acid seas look inviting," Kivin countered. should be fun. Fun. Anna had never thought of her existence in terms of fun before. It had always been duty, survival, proving herself. But standing here with another being who understood, who shared the burden and the strength that came from death worlds, maybe fun was possible after all. She wasn't the only Deathworlder anymore. And for the first time since joining the council, she didn't feel alone.